Christ, and it is my extreme pleasure this morning to introduce to you Rania Zaitar. She is a Muslim, Egyptian, American, who is going to speak to us a little bit about her experiences growing up, her book, America Through My Eyes, and a little bit about the Islamic faith. So please welcome her.
Is that better? Okay, we do it. Make it. One more packet from my scarf. Okay. Okay. Is that good? Okay. So today I will tell you a little bit about myself. And I will tell you about my book. And then I have a presentation about, I called it Understanding Me. So in the presentation, I collected some basic information that I wish every non-Muslim in the United States would know about me. So if they see me or see any other Muslim, they would understand how we think or what we believe in. And I also have this handout with my son is giving it. It's like very good sources about Islam and Muslims, and it mostly was made by non-Muslims. So, like different movies, the documentaries, YouTube videos, different kind of sources, and I think those are the most ones that I found are very beneficial about my religion or fair about my religion. So I collected them, and I would really appreciate it if you have any time to check them or some of them anytime. And after my presentation, and through my presentation, feel free to ask me any questions. So if you have any question about anything I'm sharing, feel free to raise your hand and ask me that question. Any question. So don't hesitate to ask me any question, and it will never be offensive to me. Also, I have some questions I will share with you, and these questions are about the presentation, mostly about the presentation, and it's a kind of game I like to do. So if you know the answer, you will get a gift, one of these Egyptian gifts, and you don't have to be accurate, you don't have to be 100% right, just close from the right answer. You can get one of these gifts. So let me start. My name is Rania Zaitar. And I came to the United States 17 years ago. My life changed so much since I came, and everything, my thoughts, my ideas, my life, everything in my life was 100% different since I came to the United States. And that took time, for me to learn and to know people and to change. My experience affected my life so much, and sharing it with others helped me to understand them and help them to understand me. I came with no English. I wasn't able to speak English or understand English, but by the time I learned, with the help of so many American non-Muslims, I was able to learn English. And 4 years ago, I started to write articles about myself and the questions I have been hearing. I started to work in public schools with special education 8 years ago. And since I started to interact with my community, I received so many questions. And because I write better than I talk, so I decided to write articles to share the answers. And 2 years ago, I joined the writers group in Plano's library, public library. And that was like one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life. Wonderful group of people who supported me so much, helped me so much, gave me a lot of encouragement to keep writing and they gave me the idea to publish a book. Like I never thought I would publish a book in my second language, ever. But with their help, I was able to publish that book, and I'm so happy that one of the members and the writers, actually two of them, are here. Paul is one of them, and Becca is one of them. So thank you for coming, guys. Oh, it this dream to be true. I also work in Saturdays as Arabic language team lead in Islamic school. So I'm married to Muhammad Ali, different Muhammad Ali. I have 2 boys. Moaz number 1, Moaz in 7th grade, number 1 in 5th grade. That's about my life in general, and about my experience in writing. My book is 20 different chapters, and the chapters, it's not really one thing. It's like different topics, and try to discuss as much as I can, share as much stories that change stuff inside me in the book. And I thought the book would be a good source to understand any Muslim, because many situations I went through, other Muslims went through too. So I hope you, I don't know if any, who would get a chance to read the book here? Okay, that's wonderful. I hope you had enjoyed the book. And I would really appreciate it if you get any chance to review the book on Amazon, because that would really, really be helpful for me. The book here is available today. It's for $10. Anyone is interested to buy it. I will start my presentation. Through the presentation, feel free to ask me anytime.
Rhonda, do you have the clicker?
You what?
Do you have the clicker?
Yes. So I call it Understanding Me. So hopefully you will. Oh, it's on. Yeah. Okay. I'm talking about the word of Islam. The word of Islam means voluntary submission to God. It derives from the word salam, which means peace in Arabic, and shalom in Hebrew. The word salam is shalom in Hebrew. Islam teaches that it's through the doing of good deeds and seeking the pleasure of God that souls find true happiness and peace. And it is the same context that the word Islam derives from the root word salam, for peace. What is the Islamic greeting? So if you get the chance to go into any Muslim majority country, they usually greet each other or greet people with these words, Assalamu alaikum. And Assalamu alaikum in Arabic means in English, peace be upon you. And the respond is wa alaikum assalam, which is peace be upon you too. So like hi here, when you go say hi, so hi is Assalamu alaikum in Muslim majority countries. Who are Muslims? There are around 1.7 billion Muslims in the world, which is almost 1/4 of the world's population. That means around 1 of each 4 human beings on earth is a Muslim. There are around 4 million Muslims in the USA, about 1% of the population. Now there's no, we're not sure 100% of their 4 million, because if you search it online, you'll find some sources would say 3, some sources would say 5. They didn't count them specifically, but it's around that number. Muslims believe in all the prophets who preceded Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the holy books which they brought, such as Psalms, Torah, and Gospel. This is a saying for Prophet Muhammad. He said, the real Muslim is a person who the people are safe from his tongue and his hands. Now, feel free to ask any question. So, do you have any question about that so far? Are all Muslims Arabs? This is one of many misunderstandings about Muslims. Not all Muslims are Arab. Not even most of Muslims are Arabs. I'm one of them, but not all of them. Just 15% of all Muslims around the world are Arab. Also, there are Arabs who are not Muslims, mostly Christians or Jews. So Arab is actually like a race, say say like black people or Hispanic. So you will see Hispanic who are of different religions, and the same thing for Arabs. So Arabs is a race, and some of them are Muslims, some Christians, some Jews, and some atheists or don't have any religion. Muslims are from everywhere, all over the world. They speak the language of their home countries. The largest populations of Muslims are in Indonesia, then comes India. Here are some pictures. Oh, I'm not changing that, okay. Thank you. Here are some pictures from Muslims from all over the world. So here from Africa, from China, from the United States, from India, and this is a sheikh or imam from Russia. So these are Muslims from different countries. What is the religion of Islam about? So this is like an idea about what Muslim would think. It is an Abrahamic monotheistic faith that teaches belief in one God. Muslims believe it is the same faith taught and practiced by all prophets throughout time, including Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, peace be upon them all. We also believe all prophets submitted to God alone, seeking peace in this world and hereafter. They believe all the creations are submitting to God naturally, and humans are given free will to choose either to accept God's message or not. Now, who is Allah? You probably hear this word a lot, Allah. And here I'm trying to explain who's Allah, the God of Muslims. Muslims believe that they worship the same God that Jews and Christians worship, which is Allah. Allah is the Arabic word, and here the red one is actually the word Allah in Arabic. So that's written in Arabic, the red part. Allah, Arabic, is Arabic word and proper name for God. Arab Christians and Jews worship Allah. And here are two verses from Genesis 1:1 and John 3:16. And you can find the red word, which is Allah. It's written in the Bible, in Arabic. So the word Allah means God in Arabic. Now about Prophet Muhammad, which we believe is the last messenger to humanity. Who is he? He is the prophet of Islam. Last in the line of prophets were sent by God, referred to as the trustworthy and the truthful among his people before he became a prophet. He was an orphan at a young age and illiterate too. He was not able to read or write in all his life. He began receiving revelations, which is we call Quran, from the angel Gabriel when he was 40 years old. Now, an idea about the Quran. What is the Quran? Muslims consider the Quran the miracle of Allah, for God, and the final testament to humankind. They believe it was revealed in a perfect Arabic to an illiterate man. The word Quran literally means which is often recited. So this is the meaning in Arabic. The word Quran means which is often recited. Now, this slide is actually the reason why I'm here. Or the main idea why I decided to publish my book. We don't have to be Christians to respect Christianity. We don't have to be Jews to respect Judaism. We don't have to be Muslims to respect Islam or Prophet Muhammad. Knowledge is the key for respect. And I do believe in this. I had much more respected my Christian friend when I read the Bible and when I talked to them and asked them questions and they answered me. I respected more, like a lot of other religions for the same reason. Just because I knew more about them from them, not about them from others. So this is a really important point that which I believe in. Here, I'm sharing one of many, many sayings from non-Muslims about Prophet Muhammad. This one is from John William Draper, and he was an American English-born scientist, philosopher, physician, chemist, historian, and photographer. He's created with producing the first clear photograph of a female face and the first detailed photograph of the moon. In 1840, he was also the first president of the American Chemical Society and the founder of New York University School of Medicine. And this is as he's saying about Prophet Muhammad after he studied his life. 4 years after the death of the Justin in AD 569, he was born in Mecca. Mecca is a city in Arabia. The man who, of all men, has exercised the greatest influence upon the human race, to be the religious head of many empires, to guide the daily life of 1/3 of the human race, may perhaps justify the title of a messenger of God. In my book, there is a whole chapter about, I call it Understanding Islam and Me. And actually, I got this presentation from this chapter. In the chapter, there is more detailed, and I shared a lot of different sayings about Prophet Muhammad or about Islam from non-Muslims who are trustworthy people. Here's one thing I really didn't know before I came to the United States, that Prophet Muhammad was honored from the Supreme Court, and it's in the Supreme Court, like one of the powers, as one of the greatest lawgivers of the world, and that was in 1935. Do you have any questions? Okay. Hopefully you will have after the presentation. Here, more information about the Islamic faith. Here I'm showing what are the pillars of the Islamic faith. And I need to talk a little bit about this part. So we have in Islam, we have two different kinds of pillars. We have pillars of the Islamic faith and pillars of practicing Islam. And the difference is the pillars of the faith, which is inside me, like whatever I should think and feel about the religion. And the practicing Islam is what I should do to be a Muslim. Now, one more point I need to explain before we go through this. Pillars are not the religion. Pillars, like the pillars of a building, it's not the building. But it's the most important part to build the building. So the pillars that I'm sharing is the most important part for me to be a Muslim. But then I'm not a Muslim unless I build the building, which is everything else that a good human being should do. So, what are the pillars of the Islamic faith, which is I should think or believe on? Number one God without equals or partners. Number 2, believing in His angels. Number 3, believing in His revelations through all the holy books. Number 4, believing in all of His prophets through the ages and centuries. Number 5, believing in the day of judgment and the hereafter. Only God will judge all humans depending on their deeds. Number 6, believing in destiny, the good and the bad are happening for reasons. God knows the reasons, and we have to be patient to understand it. So these are the things that I should believe in inside me. Now these are the pillars that I should do to be a Muslim. So we call it the pillars of practicing the religion. Number 1, the declaration of faith, which is saying the words, there is no God but only one God, and Muhammad is His messenger. So this is the first thing I should do. Number 2 is praying. I have to pray 5 times a day, and our prayers depend on the sun. So I pray in the morning, dawn, and then I pray at noon, afternoon, sunset, and at night. So these 5 times I have to pray every day. Excuse me. Number 3, charity, which we call the Arabic zakat. And it's giving 2.5% of the extra money a person has saved for a whole year for the needy. A person may also give as much as he or she pleases as a voluntary charity after the percentage which is required. So I have to give 2.5%, but I'm always welcome to give more if I wanted to. Number 4, fasting the month of Ramadan. Every year, the month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, all Muslims fast from dawn until sunset, abstaining from food, drink, and sexual relations. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Ramadan, but Ramadan is moves around the year because it's dependent on the lunar calendar. So every year it comes 11 days earlier. And I have a whole chapter about why Ramadan. I call it Why Ramadan in the book. And I explained why we don't eat anything or drink anything from sunrise to sunset. The last couple of years were the hardest Ramadan since Ramadan was in the summer. So it was like fasting for 16 hours in a row. Yeah. So I had more details about Ramadan in this chapter in the book.
What age does that start?
Sorry, can you
What
hear?
age does that start?
So practicing, I should start to be accounted for it when puberty hits. So my kids, we try to give them practice before that. So we usually ask them like gradually. They don't have to fast all day. Maybe they can fast like 3 hours without drinking, and then the next year 6 hours, and so they can have the idea of controlling themselves, not doing it for a while. But like in the religion, I should be accountable for it since puberty.
Got a question.
Yes.
What happens when children are born 9 months after Ramadan? Are there any repercussions?
When the children are born.
Well,
They did what? I didn't
every night.
Okay, no, really bad. But yeah, you know what? It's just in the morning. So it might happen. You know, we just abstain from food and drink and sexual relations in the morning. But at night we can eat, we can drink, we can do whatever we want. If we are sick, and pregnant, nursing, we don't have to fast, we eat. And then after Ramadan, we have the whole year to make these days up. Yeah, like last Ramadan, I didn't fast for 5 days. I was not feeling well. So I have the whole year to make these 5 days before the next Ramadan comes. If I can't, like some people would have diabetes or something, so they can't actually make them up. So they do pay charities for each day. So there's a specific number of money. It depends on like a meal, how much it costs a meal, a good meal. And for each day, they have to pay money for the needy. Any more questions? Number 5, the $5 is the pilgrimage to Mecca. And it's the annual pilgrimage to Mecca is an obligation once in a lifetime for those who are physically and financially able to perform it. I don't know if you ever saw Mecca. It's a city in Saudi Arabia right now, or in Arabia in general. And there's in the city in Mecca, there's the Kaaba, which is a black big square. I don't know if any of you get the chance to see a picture of it or something, but it's like black. What do you call it? I forgot the name of it. A cube, big cube, huge cube. And we go there and we do. I didn't get the chance to do yet, but my friend is here. She did. So if we can financially and physically, because it needs the good health it's a lot of walking and a lot of moving around. And the area there usually like hot and dry. So if physically and financially I can, I have to do this once in my lifetime. At least once. Hajj for pilgrimage, yes. For pilgrimage, a specific time I have. If I decided to go Hajj, a specific time in the year that I have to go at this time. But visiting Mecca, like just go like spiritual visit, I can go through the year anytime.
Is that open to non-Muslims?
No, Mecca itself is not open to non-Muslims. But Saudi Arabia in general are open to non-Muslims. They can go and visit anytime. Here, one very important topic. Islam and women. This is one of the many misunderstandings about Islam in the West. I easily can notice that, especially after I wore my hijab. So when I came to the United States, I didn't wear hijab. I was with my hair, and I decided to do this in the United States. So I had both the experiences being not covered and being covered. And I can easily notice that a lot of people, either they say or just the way they deal with me, I can notice that either they feel like, poor girl, nobody forced her to wear this thing. You know, I can feel it, or some people would say it to me, literally. So it is a big, huge misconception. So in the religion of Islam, there is 100% equality in all the rights and the responsibilities between men and women. And if it seems not like covering, it's for the benefit of the women when we learn the reasons. Many verses in the Quran and many of the Prophet Muhammad's sayings confirm this equality and make it clear. Islam mostly about knowledge and learning, which leads to logic, and that's why the very first word was sent to Prophet Muhammad from the Quran was the word read. The first word he received was read. And in my book, I have 2 chapters who discuss this topic with more detail. Chapter 1 is my hijab, and I told the whole entire story about why I wore my hijab and how, and all the questions I've been hearing about my covering. I included in this chapter, and I also had, I think it's one of the most important chapters in the book, which is my rights in Islam. So I wrote every single right I have in my religion, which I know most of the people, or most of the non-Muslims in the West, have no idea about it. So these 2 chapters are very informative about this topic. Maybe someone has any question about this. Do you have any question about this slide? Yes.
I have a question, not just about women, but I wonder how you view mixed marriages, and if there are mixed marriages between Muslims and Muslims.
Yeah, in the religion of Islam, Muslim man can marry Christian or a Jew. So the Muslim man can marry Christian woman or a Jew. Muslim woman has to marry a Muslim man. And now there is a reason for this too. The reason is, usually the head of the house, or the more powerful or the strongest, is the man. If the man is believing in, like a Muslim man, he actually believes in Jesus. He believes in Muslims. He believes in the Torah, and he believes in the gospel. So he would 100% give total freedom to his wife to practice her religion. This option probably will not be the same if, most likely, or maybe, not will be the same if the husband is not believing in his wife's revelation or religion. That's the reason that they say. That's not really said in the Quran. Like, there is nothing said in the Quran that Muslim women can just marry a Muslim man. But that's what the scholars through the time ended up saying this is the best for to protect the religion of Muslim women, is to marry someone who believes in her faith. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? Okay. Next one. a big topic too. But here I collected some little information about my beliefs of this topic. From the literal meaning of the name of this religion and the greeting that God ordered Muslims to use in the Quran, which is peace be upon you, or assalamu alaikum, it will appear clear that this religion is all about the opposite of violence. The violence which is happening in the name of Islam is actually a totally political violence, and they are justifying themselves with stealing the name of this religion. Number two, there is no holy war in Islam. This is not mentioned in any like religious book or in the Quran or any of the Prophet Muhammad's sayings. The word jihad in Arabic literally means a struggle to achieve success. So any struggle I go through my life is actually a jihad for me. Even wearing my scarf in the summer is a jihad for me. Being truthful and never lie, even if I'm in a very hard situation that I had to lie, but I didn't lie. It's actually jihad for me. Terrorism is not jihad, but the perversion of the holy text. Now, in my book, I have chapter 15. I called it a piece of the puzzle, and I hope, I don't know if any of the people who read it was helpful for them, but I had a situation in my school one time that a lady came to me and she told me, Maria, you have in the Quran to kill non-Muslims. I'm like, no, I have read the Quran, it's not true. She's like, no, it's in there, we found it, and I will bring you the verses. And she actually brought me the verses. And I wrote the whole story in this chapter, but the conclusion is, she gave me a piece of the puzzle. She gave me a piece of the puzzle, but that's not the puzzle. You will never understand the picture of the puzzle unless you put all the pieces together. You have to put all the pieces together to see what is the picture. If I give you a piece of the puzzle, you will never figure out what is this puzzle about. So I explained this part in this chapter, which is chapter 15. I called it piece of the puzzle. I also included the verses, and I included the explanation of the verses and why it was revealed and the time and everything. And another one in the book is actually my very first fiction story in English, and I was so scared to write this part. But I just decided to do it because I had an idea about how Muslim would feel living in the world, seeing the opposite of some stuff. So I wrote this fiction story, and I tried to explain this idea in the story. So it deals with violence too. To understand more about this subject, watch the documentary Inside Islam, which is what is a billion Muslims really think. And this is one of the handout I gave to you. I think it's one of the best documentaries was made about this subject, since it was made by Muslims and non-Muslims, American Muslims and American non-Muslims, and they actually will take you to a tour to live in the documentary as you are living with the other half of the world. So you will see how the other half of the world are actually thinking, and how do they really hate America? Do they really want America to be have really negative? And if they have a negative, is it because of religion or because of politics? So it's very informative documentary about this subject. Now this is one information from many information that I added in the book. According to the 2014 CIA report about terrorism, 0.0006% of the 1.7 billion Muslims are terrorists. But sadly, the rest of the 99.994% peaceful Muslims mostly are paying the bill because of the media's effect. And that's normal. And, it's happening because when you always hear a word with negativity, so it's naturally you will think, okay, everyone will have this title, will be just the same or similar. So, and I went through this kind of when I was negative political parts of the United States. So my feelings was, oh, all the United States people are just would probably hate Muslims or would like doers of wars in all the countries and all the world. But that's not true. That's not the reality. When I came here, Americans are totally different than the idea I was hearing in the media and the news. And you will never know until you get in it. You have to get in the thing. You have to read about it. You have to meet people to understand more. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Anyone? I hate ISIS, by the way. And if there is a measure to see who are the most person would hate ISIS, believe me, I would be the most. And most of my Muslim friends would be the same. They hurt non-Muslims, but they do hurt Muslims more. Okay, this is very, 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 very important. I would think the most important slides, which I wish like every non-Muslim I would meet in my life will know. What should you know as a non-Muslim about Muslims? So here I collected all the like basic information that I wish everyone CV know about me. Muslims are monotheists who respect all previous messages that they believe God had sent before Islam. Lying, stealing, cheating, committing adultery, taking drugs, gambling, killing, and any sin or bad deeds are all forbidden in Islam. And whoever is practicing the religion of Islam has to avoid all of them. Now, just in case one will do any of this, he can just seek forgiveness from God and try to avoid it. They believe that Muhammad was sent as a mercy to creation. Muslims try to imitate him and follow him. Muslims eat everything but pork or anything derived from pigs. So we don't eat pork or ham or bacon or anything comes from, similar to Jews who are practicing Judaism. Muslims drink everything but alcohol or any liquors. Since they believe the mind is the most important part to control human behavior, anything that may affect the mind's functions is forbidden in Islam. So alcohol or drugs or whatever will affect my function is forbidden. Most Muslims don't have the opposite gender, and you may meet a Muslim who does not shake hands or touch the opposite gender. This is not so common though, but you might meet someone who will shake hands. Muslims celebrate two big holidays which are equal to Christmas. We have two holidays. The first one is Eid al-Fitr, and it's 3 days right after the fasting month of Ramadan. And then we have Eid al-Adha, it's 4 days right after the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. So right the time after Ramadan we have 3 days of festival or Eid or holiday. And then right after the pilgrimage time, which is a specific time in the year, we do have 4 days of celebration too. Any questions?
Yes.
Oh, good.
What is the reasoning for setting the last about fighting and handshaking?
I will tell you something, even the Christians in Egypt, they don't do that too. So they don't have the opposite gender, and it's religion, it's kind of religion and culture at the same time. So in the religion, it's kind of, the body is very, like nobody should touch my body except somebody I trust very, very, very well. So it's not just a friend I can hug, it's a very protected thing, I have to protect it all the time. It's kind of the reason why I'm covering too. So it's in the religion, in the culture. Like if you go to Egypt, we have Christians, they never hug each other, it's opposite genders. Yes?
How do you celebrate those holidays?
So, here is totally different than being in a Muslim majority country. So you can just, how the difference is if you are living in non-Christian majority country, Christmas will not be the same. So here, actually, we go to the prayer in the morning. We, as a family, with our friends, we go to the prayer in the morning, and then we try to take the boys somewhere fun and go eat out. And personally, I try to do like the Christmas style gifts. So I do for each day give them a gift. So they have a gift, like in the 3 days, they have a gift for each day. In Egypt, it's different because it's a festival. So there's people in Egypt. They use, when I was young, we had to wear like new clothes in that Eid. We would money. So money is the gift. We don't really. My mom didn't used to give us gifts like Christmas style, but we would get money from everyone we meet in that Eid. So my mom, yes, tons of money. So my mom, my dad, we go visit my aunts, everyone would give us money. So we would keep counting the money and then go buy whatever we want, and candies and new toys, and so it was fun.
Is
Yes.
that just the kids, or do you hand out money to everyone you see?
No, they give money to, no, just kids. And like my dad used to give to my mom. He gives me too, so I can't just say that. But usually we give for the kids. But husbands just trying to be nice to give to their wives. Someone else had a question. Yes.
If the holiday lands during the school session, do the schools talk, do they work with you?
Yeah, that's a good question though. And I used to work with the Hidden County Special Education. They were awesome and so nice to have someone from them here. And I used to take the day off. So I would just send an email and say, this is my holiday, and I take just one day off because it's a prayer. The first day is the most important day. So I take the first day off, and it was always a paid day, and it's okay to do it. This year I worked with a different company. They didn't allow me to take it. But I know it's like different rules and different systems, and it's a new company, so they probably didn't have everything ready yet. But I pulled the kids out of the school here for the first day, at least the first day, to celebrate it together. And then the rest of the days, if I can't pull them out, I try to do something fun after school for them. Yeah, what question? Yes.
What's your dress code that you have to follow when you're in public?
Hijab, which is covering. Yeah, so I cover all my body except my hands and my face. And the name of it is hijab. Yes.
I understand that angels are in religion, especially the angel Gabriel.
Yes.
And could you elaborate a little bit on the role and how important the role of the angels are to you?
Sure. So in Islam, we believe in all the angels. So we believe Angel Gabriel is the one the most important, since he was the one who gave the revelation to all the prophets. So he has a very special job. We believe also angels might be around us, and they probably will kind of blessing for believers. We believe that I have two angels on my shoulders. My right shoulder is the one who writes my good deeds, and my left shoulder is the one who writes my bad deeds. So if I did anything wrong, he would be writing it. And everything I have done in my life, I will be accountable about in the front of God at the end of the day of judgment. Also, there is an angel who will take care of the end of the world, and angel who is taking care of death. So a lot of angels with a lot of jobs, and we believe in all of them. Yeah.
We hear about Islamic terrorism. In the Islamic world, do you hear about Christians terrorizing and committing acts that are similar? Is that something that happens?
You mean happens in there or here?
There, where maybe a Christian would come in and bomb establishment,
We hear they happen sometimes in Africa or some poor countries and stuff. I personally believe the person who would hurt someone is sick-minded person, psychologically, have went through whatever his religion is. He is not stable. He is not normal. He's the opposite of natural. People would, if I'm walking and I will fall, you're naturally gonna help me out. That's your natural human being. If someone would enjoy hurting someone else, he's not irregular, he's not normal. We do hear about, my kids would go through some stuff at school, like bullying and like, oh, you look like ISIS or whatever, stuff like that. And that hurts them. So when they come and complain, and I say, you know what? Come on, let's search online. See, let's get all these religions and search violence in whatever, violence in Buddhism, genital violence in Judaism, violence in Christianity, and you will see how many people commit terrorism, but they don't call it terrorism, but it is terrorism. They terror different people, they kill them, they attack them. So it's happening, but the title that's been given is actually the media's title. They decided terrorism belongs to Islam. But terrorism is a word that can belong to any religion, to any human being on earth. I hope that is a good answer.
How about you? Have you experienced discrimination the 17 years that you've been here?
Yeah, sure. But I'm kind of lucky though. It's never like extreme. Like I never had terrible situations. But I went through like one of the chapters, one kind of discrimination which hurted me so bad. And I explained the whole story from my point of view, and how it might seem not a big deal for someone, but for me it was a big issue. And he discriminated me, but who defended me was a non-Muslim. So it's not about he's a Muslim or not-Muslim. It's more about his mentality and his thinking. I had a bad situation a couple months ago at Target where someone came close for me and then started to say rude, bad words, and like it was very hurtful and I was so scared. So, but I never got like, I consider myself lucky. Like I had friends from different states who went through much more than me. I'm so lucky being in this wonderful state. Yes.
I have a question about that idea.
Yes.
What is the significance? Is it just a matter of cultural difference, or is it a sect of the religion? The folks that wear the mask and the entire body covered.
So, yeah, you will find hijab as a covering. You probably will see many Muslims with totally different styles. Some would just cover their hair, some would cover like me, some would wear like long white clothes, and some other would cover the whole complete face and everything. So in the religion itself, which is in the Quran and the Prophet saying, we should be covered, but it did not, like in the Quran, he didn't say exactly what parts should be appear, what parts should be covered. And that goes to the scholars. So the scholars went in different ways, like, oh, she should be covered the whole body, and then no, she shouldn't. Most of them, I would say 95% of them said covering the body except the hands and face. Some of them went through like more extreme explanation of it, and they said, oh no, she should be covered. Now, the most important point I want to share in this is, I have met people who cover their face, but they never forced to. They wanted to. Like I have my third cousin for my mom in Egypt, and I attended this fighting. Her dad and her parents and her brothers and sisters were so mad that she decided to be covered their face. And they tried everything they could to tell her, no, don't do it, don't do it. And she insisted to do it, and she did it. So it's actually the opposite of anybody here would think. They would think, oh, her husband or her dad forced her to be covered. But that was not the real story. I have met some people from Bosnia in the United States. There are a couple of them. And they were Muslims. And when I asked them, they said, oh, they were not practicing at all, and they started to learn about the religion. And then there's the scholar who was teaching them, thought this is the best thing to get the most good deeds. So they convinced them, and they did it. I personally don't think so. I respect their choice to be covered, but I don't think it's a good idea. And even if I see a friend or someone who would want to do it, I always think it's, even if you think you get good deeds for covering I think you would get more good deeds of showing your face and getting people to know you, understand you. That's what I think about it. But yeah, you will see a lot of different styles of and also my belief it's dependent on the lady. Like I believe, I feel comfortable wearing this. I feel more confidence, and I feel I'm okay with my God at the same time, and I'm okay with the style I'm wearing. Another girl or another lady might feel different, like she doesn't like to wear pants, or she doesn't like to, she feel more comfortable doing something else. So it depends on the person. Thank you. Thank you, that's really nice of you. Yeah.
In regards to your appearance and what you do wear in your country, and by the way, you look very nice today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But do you also wear any American clothes? Do you
Yes.
go to American stores?
Yes, and I actually had pictures from Egypt. I was playing before the start of the presentation. And in Egypt, if you go, you will see all different kinds of clothes. Like you will see bikini, you will see mini jumps, and like Muslims and Christians. Because in Egypt, Muslims and Christians, the two religions we have 90% Muslims, 10% Christians, Catholics. They wear anything they want, I was in Egypt and I wasn't wearing hijab, and I was wearing any clothes I want. I was making my hair and putting makeup and wearing shorts, whatever.
When it comes to jewelry, I do realize you have
Yes.
a necklace on, but do you wear jewelry as well?
Yes, anything you want. I got loving the jewelry from my mom. She loved jewelry and she always wear jewelry. But yeah, they wear everything in Egypt. You can see all the different styles there. Yes.
Now, in Christianity, we got the benefit of knowing what certain particulars in our religion look like due to, artistic representation like Jesus or Moses, etc. Now, in regard to Prophet Muhammad, there's something that most of us have been told that there is somewhat taboo to have an artistic representation of Prophet Muhammad. Is that true? And if so, why is that? And does the Muslim community have a general idea of what it looks like?
That's a good question, though. It is in Islam we should not draw prophets. So the reason is Islam came to at a time when people was worshiping idols. So they were worshiping like statues, and they think these are gods. Now, before they think these are gods, the history of these statues gods actually was these were very religious people who were trying to guide the public to God. But by the time these symbols became God Himself, so they started to worship the idols instead of God, and that took centuries. So when Prophet Muhammad came, he was very clear about, don't worship me. I am not a person to worship. Worship God. And I'm just here to tell you who is God and how to worship Him. So he made sure that his picture is not the thing that we would get blessed off. We would get blessed off his thoughts, not his picture. So that's why in Islam we don't believe in picturing the prophets, but learning from their thoughts.
So the antidote to idolatry.
Yeah, but artistic in general is fine. Like if you go in mosque, you will see a lot of Islamic pictures and designs and some pictures. I hopefully, here she's playing some pictures. So this is a picture from Egypt. This girl is covering her face, and these three girls are just showing their hair. And it seems in the winter, in the summer, they wear short sleeves. So in the mosque too, there's a couple of pictures about mosque. There's a lot of artistic, inside the big, huge mosque, you'll see a lot of beautiful art there. Yes?
I'm making the names right with the Sunnis and the Shiites. Are they both Muslims?
Yeah.
If so, are those considered tribes?
Yeah.
And their tribes more important than their religion, or how's that go?
Okay. So, sure. In Islam, we have two branches. So in Christianity, sometimes we have different thoughts or ideas. In Islam, we have two, Sunni and Shia. Now, Sunni are 90% of Muslims. Shia are 10% of Muslims, and they're mostly in Iran and Iraq. The difference, actually, so both branches have the same beliefs about God, about Prophet Muhammad, about the Quran, about the pillars, like all the pillars that I shared. We have the same thoughts. The difference comes from after Prophet Muhammad died. He was the leader of Muslims. So after his death, he did not decide who should lead the Muslims. He did not do that. But he let it for the people to decide who should lead the Muslims. Like kind of democracy. Like you pick who should lead you. So people picked someone to lead the Muslims after his death. Some other Muslims thought, no, this shouldn't be, it should be the one who is his cousin, who related to Prophet Muhammad. He was his cousin and he was his son-in-law at the same time. And they thought, okay, this who should lead, which is Ali ibn Abi Talib. He's one of the most respected companions. But Shia think that he should, and he's like the lead should go through his family. So his cousin, and then his kids, or he has two sons. They should lead the Muslims all over, and their kids and their kids, like kind of I don't know, like kingdom style. This is the main difference. So it started very politically, who should lead the Muslims. And then it ended to wars at some point of the historical Muslim Islamic history. It ended to wars. No, we're going to kill those so they will not lead the Muslims. Oh no, we need to kill those. You know, it ended to some big wars in the history. And then it was fine for a long, long time until it came back with the same thing. Like they don't understand each other, so they hate each other. And wars made it worse. Different political issues that came in the world made it worse. But I personally, we don't have a lot of Shia in Egypt. So I didn't have a lot of information about the Shia before I come to the United States. So when I came to the United States, and that one more thing, like I really appreciate it about this country, I met Shia people and I asked them questions and I got their books and I read their books and I understood a lot of their perspectives of thinking, which I never had to do before I come here. So yeah, it is, and you will hear it a lot in the news, and killing and bombing and stuff, usually in Iraq or whatever. It's all political issues. Yes.
There's, you said, like, Muslims. A lot of them are in the Far East, right?
Say it again?
Asia, Malaysia.
Yes.
Is that because missionaries live there? Or?
You know, in Islam we don't have missionary. We have invitation. An invitation is just telling about yourself.
So was it trade that went there to spread the message?
Yeah, at this point, now this is very important because I have met people who say Islam was spread by sword. I don't know how many people would hear this. Islam was spread by sword, but I have met a lot of people who would accuse Islam that was spread by sword, by wars. So people would go and fight and force other people to be Muslims. So people, when they say that, I'm like, okay, you think Islam was spread by sword or by violence or by forcing? What about Asia? Like, there are Muslim armies came to Africa. There are Muslim armies who came, Indonesia or Spain, which was Andalus for a long time, Muslim people. But wait a minute, what about Asia, who has the most population of Muslims? None of any Muslim soldier ever went there. So Islam was not spread by sword, and this is like just very basic, simple example about the opposite of what you're saying. It was a mess. It was people, Muslim people who went there and lived there, and then the people got to know them and understand them, read about them, and then they became Muslim.
So
Yeah.
most of the population, or the majority of Muslims, live in the Far East, right?
Yes,
Because
it's true.
the Middle East doesn't have very big population.
No, the most of them. And I said the most country that has the most Muslims are Indonesia, is Indonesia, and then India. It was, no, it's fine. But you're right, 100% right. Someone said, yes.
In that picture, are those women all Muslim?
Yes. who are not wearing hijab. So yeah, Muslims or Christians and whatever, some of them are practicing, some are not practicing, some are wearing hijab, some are not wearing hijab, some are practicing and not wearing hijab too. Yes.
The concern is the prophets have said that you have to cover, the prophets have said that you can't wear your religion. Are there any other rules? I'll speak up. I will speak up. The prophets have said you can't marry a Christian, but the men can't. Are there any other rules like that for the women that don't practice the men?
Oh yeah,
But you said that you're equal.
yes, it's okay, and that's why I said we are equal, but when it seems that it's not, it's for the beneficial for the women. Like, I would prefer to marry someone who would not allow me to practice my religion because he does not believe in my religion at all. Or he doesn't think that Prophet Muhammad existed in this world. I will not be happy. And if I would be happy for a couple of years, I might be like, oh, I don't have to pray. It's fine.
That's your choice.
My choice.
You don't know that you're going to be the nice man as a Christian. Sorry.
Yes, and that's why it's not in the Quran. Now, this is not in the Quran. This is what the scholars decided. So I know someone who, I know a lady who converted to Islam. So she's a Muslim. Her husband is not. Yeah, it happens the opposite. But I mean, she's still married to him. She will not get divorced because she's a Muslim and he's not. He allows her to practice. Now, if he does not allow her to practice, she has the right to get divorced.
But the scholars have deemed it.
Not all of them. Not all of them. I'm just saying the majority. The majority said so. But no, there's other people who would say, no, she doesn't have to leave him. And she doesn't have to marry from a Muslim if he's a good person. So yeah, different opinions are applied. The only things that we cannot really discuss in Islam, do the opposite of it, which is written in the Quran. And there is nothing written in the Quran you would see it's good for men and bad for women, or not giving equal rights. Everything in the Quran is absolutely, even mentioning the word, that he would say for women and for men, So, and this is the only thing that is 100% right. That's why I said it's 100% equality. Now, our opinions came from some Prophet Muhammad sayings. People discuss it. People have different opinions in it. Should we do this way? Okay, if this is the reason. If this reason is not there, so we don't have to do it. So you will see a lot of different opinions. Yes?
So it sounds like we often talk about what we have as Christian traditions in the church, but they're not necessarily biblical. So what this sounds like is that you have got some traditions within Islam.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily in the Quran, but they're not necessarily what you would call part of your Holy Scripture.
Yeah, it would come from a source and from the Prophet's sayings, but it doesn't have to be the same exact. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking that there's a lot of scholars who changed many things through the time and centuries, from the beginning to now. It's 1,400 years ago, so there's a lot. Yes.
Marriage is arranged in your faith, or are marriages
in Islam, no, there is no arrangement. There's something really funny happened to me. Yeah, I have done something. When I came here, I didn't really understand the meaning of the arranged marriage. Like, I didn't understand the meaning that someone would be forced and has no choice, that he has to marry this person or he will not marry. So in Egypt, I always hear about 2 different kinds of marriage, which is, if you know someone, and I have a friend who might be matching each other, so we will get together, and they see each other, they might like each other, they might not, but this is kind of knowing each other. And the other one is love stories. Okay, I met someone in college or at work, and I love him, and then I married him. So either friends or family planning to meet each other, or so for some reason, for years, I thought arranged marriage is the kind that you would bring someone, and I I will bring someone. And I have said yes to this, like for many people, until I knew, like, oh wait a minute, no, it's not. Now, arranged marriage are very, very, very familiar in India. And it's not just Muslims. There are Muslims who do arranged marriage in India, but it's a lot of Hindus and tribes. It's very, very common in their culture to do arranged marriage. But I have never heard about any arranged marriage in Egypt in all my life. Like, which is forcing, like you don't have the choice. And in Islam, it's very clear that I have to accept, and both ways, they both have to accept, and if they don't accept, it's not the right marriage. It will not work. Yes.
Could you speak to the education of women, especially girls? Because I think we've heard, especially in Afghanistan, where they tried to start up schools, and it's not welcome in the community.
Yes. And here in my rights in Islam, I actually, in the book, I included a big, informative sayings in the Quran and Prophet Muhammad saying about the importance of the education for women and men. Learning, seeking knowledge, and as I said, it's in the Quran, very clear saying that women and men. So, yeah, it's happening, but it's not because of the religion. No. It's because of the culture or the ignorance of the religion, or getting the wrong source. There's so many reasons for these things to happen. Yes. At mosque. So we go to mosques, and it's like temple for Jews, churches for Christians, and mosques for Muslims. And there are, for me here, we go to neighborhood. We can go to any mosque actually. We don't have to be a member of a specific mosque as Muslims. But the closest one for us, there is one in Aurora and one in Naperville. So sometimes we go this one, sometimes we go that one. Praying. And this is one for the questions about women. So he has to go to pray every Friday. I don't have to. It's my choice. So here I think it's more for women than for men. He has to leave his work and to go drive 35 minutes to go for the prayer for 15 minutes and come back. I don't have to. I'm free. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the structure of the leadership in the Muslim faith? Because I think we try and structure things according to what we know. So if you're Catholic, the leadership comes from the Pope. If you're a Protestant denomination, and I can't speak for the UCC church, but some other churches I'm familiar with, a bishop or a in charge that way. And I think they expect some uniformity, that every church believes the same basic thing. So in our minds, we think, all mosques do the same thing. And I think they stand with the pillars that you talked about. But am I correct that the leader of the church can interpret that how they want it? I think sometimes that causes confusion because in Afghanistan, the church leaders say one thing, in Egypt they say something else, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think you meant the mosque or the, no, we don't have a head, like one person for the whole Muslim. But we do have different kind of thoughts and scholars. And that's which Shelley is talking about. So it's, it's a bit like, mostly the mosques are for praying and saying, like the pastor would do here, like he pray and then we'll give you like a lecture about something in the Bible or something that's good for you to do as a Christian. So they do that in the mosque too. So in the prayers or in the holidays, in the prayer, when we go on holiday, they will do the prayer and then they will talk about it. Different mosques will have different thoughts about different subjects, not just different mosques, actually different like imam. Because in one mosque, it doesn't have to be one imam. Like maybe here you have just one pastor. In the mosque, it's not like that. So maybe I will go pray, and there's an imam who will lead me for the prayer today, give me the speech, and then it goes next week, I will have another imam. Now, it's all about me. what makes sense to me. If he said something that I think doesn't make sense to me, I'm not gonna do it. No, it's not what I read, or that's what I understood. Or, oh yeah, this is a very good advice that I will follow. So yeah, it's a little different, or a lot different.
Actually, Ronnie, it's a lot like the United Church of Christ.
Yes.
The pastors tell people what they should do, but the people they're the ones that ultimately make the decision and tell the pastor.
True. That's true. So any other questions before we go ahead? Okay.
I got one here.
Yes.
My son wanted to ask you this question. He's 10 years old. He goes to public schools and his best friend is Muslim. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, the boy's father died. So when they went to the mosque for the services and stuff, all the men were in the line, but the women were in the front row.
The woman what?
We're in the front row, and not in the line receiving people.
In the prayer?
No, when his dad died, passed away. When they came up to talk to the family and stuff like, we have funerals here, they gave the condolences and stuff like that. But there was.
So the women were in the front?
In the front row, but not standing in the line. Where's that family?
I don't know, but you know,
Tradition or?
in the praying, if you go to the mosque, you will see separation between women and men. Different mosques have different styles. Some mosques will let like half the end for women and half for the front for men. Some will do it separate, like here are women, here are men. Some will do different levels. Here are women, here are men. So it's not, you know, this is one thing I didn't know. Also, like when I came about my religion though, about my own religion, and I was born in a Muslim majority country, but I did not know about this except when I came to the United States. Actually, the Prophet, during his time, the prayer was mixed. So women and men were in the same line together. But later, like 100 years later, someone who led the Muslim country said, oh, that's not really good for women and men be by each other. They will not be really focusing in the prayer. So we're going to just separate them. So he decided to separate mosques. And since then, it's like that. Like since he decided that, and if you go any mosque, you will see the separation. But that was not what the Prophet did. Yes?
You were talking about positions of authority. I've heard the term Ayatollah. Is that a position?
The what?
Ayatollah, like during one crisis, there was Ayatollah Khomeini, was a person of authority in the religion.
Okay.
Is that like the Pope? Is there a comparison to that?
So
Is Ayatollah a term, or am I way off base here?
Ayatollah. I don't know what Ayatollah. You know what Ayatollah?
Ayatollah?
Oh, Ayatollah. Yes.
Was I saying that wrong?
No,
Ayatollah.
yes. You know, this is actually, you know, it's more in the Shiite branch. So we were talking about Sunni and Shiite. So Shiite branch usually have a head of their, like in Iran, they do have a head of, like a Bab in Catholic. They do have a head of the Shiite in Iran.
Sunni does not have that.
No, Sunni does not have that.
Now, did you say Sunni was the minority?
Yes, no, majority.
The majority?
Yes, 90%.
One other thing, you know, you said that we form opinions.
Yes.
You had an opinion of America until you came here, and then
Yes.
you changed that. Listening to you, I probably will change some of my opinions of what I had before. What bothered me is when the Twin Towers were bombed, and I know they were terrorists, but they came to the United States. They lived among the American people. They interacted with them. They went to the restaurants and ate. And I don't understand why they didn't say, all I've heard is wrong. This is not true what I was told.
Okay, because...
Of course, they're terrorists, so it's not fair to ask you this question,
No,
because
but
in their mind...
Because brainwashing is something that exists. It is existing. And you would, you know, people who would commit any kind of, like go in a church and tell people they're not Muslims. Like there's a lot of people who are not Muslims who would, like this person who went to Canada and he went and he killed. You know, he probably met people Muslims, and he probably saw they're not evil, but he has an idea that he had a lot of, like in my story, I discussed this. The person who was a terrorist in the story, he has a big, huge things that, a lot of things that happened in his life that affected him to be with this mentality. A lot of people who have met, a lot of books that I have read, that would lead him to be this evil.
So they had tunnel vision. No matter what they saw here, they're not going to change their mind.
Yeah.
They had a mission to do, and they're going to do that.
And they had, we don't know what, like one of them had been in a war in Lebanon,
Right.
and all his family were killed, you don't know how they were creating their thoughts. But it's applying to anyone.
Well, there's been a lot of people forget about the Crusades where the Christians went to kill the Muslims because they were Muslims.
Yeah, and it happens everywhere, in every different religions, and in different groups. It happens everywhere in the world.
Also, we were talking about men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Muslims look at older people more knowledgeable than younger men and women? Or do they say, oh, you're old, you're no good anymore, we'll take the young
old people are very, 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 very respected in my culture. It's my religion, like the Prophet said, the older to be, you have to be respected.
I love your culture.
You would be well respected over there.
Saying that you will see a lot in the places like schools and nursery homes in Egypt and stuff. You will see the Prophet said, respect the elderly and be kind to the young. But in my culture, it's huge respect. Like I cannot talk to an older lady without saying auntie or madame, or I have to be very respectful. I can't say her name right away. Especially if there's a big difference in age. So yeah, it's a very cultural thing in Egypt and most of the Muslim countries. Yes.
If you've already addressed this for years, but I hear it.
No, it's okay.
Could you just touch on the explanation of the thought and I see it correctly, and what the term infidel means?
Yes.
Those are some of the buzzwords
Yeah.
that cause
So the first word, what is the second word you said?
the infidel and also
okay.
things such as honor killing. Is that just something separate from the basic precepts of your religion?
Yes. Yeah, sure. This is a very, very good question. Now, she mentioned some word that you probably hear. It's kind of like Allahu Akbar. When you hear the word Allahu Akbar, you always think of killing, right? Because it always in the news, the person would say, oh, Allah, and then he would kill, whatever. But the word Allahu Akbar actually means that God is the greatest. This is the literal meaning of the word Allahu Akbar. And in Egypt or any Muslim country, they use this word so many times in a positive way. It's actually always in a positive way. So I pray 5 times a day. I always say Allahu Akbar. When I say Allahu Akbar, it means God is the greatest. So I remind myself that God is the greatest in my family, the greatest in myself, the greatest in the world, and then I pray. I say in Egypt, we say Allahu Akbar when, like if I say something really pretty, very beautiful girl, or I say Allahu Akbar, that means God is the greatest. He created this beauty. It's kind of like expression to about something you really liked. So many different ways we use the word Allahu Akbar, and it's always positive in Egypt. So when I come here, I went to the news, and always I hear Allahu Akbar in a negative way. I'm like, that's nothing about Allahu Akbar. It's the opposite of the word. And that made me in some situations, like we use like the phones to remind us for the prayer. So instead of saying we have a call for the prayer, so instead of using the whole call for the prayer, there's like Allahu Akbar sound that remind me, okay, it's time to pray. So it's an app in the phone. Just imagine you're in a clinic waiting for the doctor and your phone is saying Allahu Akbar, and look at the people around you. So it's tons of misconceptions about my religion. This is one of them. Now the second thing she said is it was a Sharia law. Who have heard about Sharia law? With negative way. Raise your hand if you have heard Sharia law with negative way.
Sharia law. Oh yeah.
Sharia law. Yeah. Sharia law. Yes, always with negative way. Now, the word Sharia in Arabic, it means the way. So the way is a Sharia. There's no law in Sharia. So the word Sharia law technically is not right. It's Sharia, just Sharia. And the Sharia, it is the way I have to live as a Muslim. So for me, I am practicing Sharia every single day. So everything I mentioned here about like pillars is the Sharia. Not stealing, not killing, not whatever, which is the rest of the building, is the Sharia. The Sharia is actually how I should live as a Muslim, anywhere, in a non-Muslim country or in a Muslim country. This is the meaning of the word Sharia. Now, why they use it with a bad way? Why they use it with like stoning and killing and cutting hands, and why they use it that way? Now, if you study, there is a very good a video will explain this part like with a very informative way, and it's called. Hopefully, I included it in the. I'm not really sure if it is, but it's a Sharia Methods Way of Faith. It's by Dr. Sabil. His name is Sabil. It's like an hour video. It's very informative about the subject. It will tell you exactly what percentage of the negative part that people will talk about Sharia comparing to the Sharia itself. It's exactly like the percentage of terrorists and Muslims. Similar, the same percentage. And when we hear about, like in the book, I explained part of these like stoning and this stuff. I explained, they use it as the Sharia law, it's like evil thing, something very bad. But here, I included the rules for that. I included that in the Quran, there is nothing about the stoning. I included that even cutting hands and commit like adultery punishments. Tons of rules have to apply before this to happen. And if you see these rules, it's impossible to be happening. It's really hard. And it's just to protect. You know, it's to protect people. Don't steal. And if the person who's stealing is needy, that doesn't apply. If he doesn't know the rule of the country or the place, doesn't apply. If he has any mental or health problem, it doesn't apply. It will just apply if he knows the rules, if he's not in need, and if he broke into a house, and if four people saw him. You know, tons of rules has to apply to get this. And now, even these parts that they think it's bad, how many countries are applying this in the world? Muslim countries. Do you have any idea who applied the Sharia law with all the parts of it? There are 50 Muslim countries. 2 of them are applying that. So there are 48 countries, a majority Muslims, are not applying any of these rules. So when I hear someone would say, oh, Muslims came to the United States to apply Sharia and force people to do whatever, Muslims are 1% of the American population. If they never did that in their majority countries, why would ever think to do it in the United States? So, and most of the words they have mentioned, if you just search the meaning of it, you would understand it's not the way they're using it in the media. Totally different. What? If you have any other questions? Thank you. Yes.
So a lot of what we see on the news, on TV, is just reporters inaccurately, like, getting everyone all excited because you say, like, he was a jihadist terrorist.
Yes.
But jihadists struggle to achieve success.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, okay, I believe that the media has targets. You know, there is something usually it's something that would help the political decisions. You know, there is reasons for everything is happening. We may know the reasons and we may not know the reasons. But as humans, our duty is to try to find out about is this really right? Is this true? And this is our way. Like it's our human being. Like everyone has different ways to do it. But I think everyone, like for me, if if I hear something about any group or anything in the news, if I believe it right away, it's not their fault. It's my fault. Because I didn't search about it. I didn't read about it. I didn't meet people to ask them about it. So don't trust anything or anyone but your heart and your brain. Okay, any other questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
What I really appreciate what you're doing today because you're giving clarification. But what always concerns me, because the news media does hijack so many things, as we know, and there is a terrorist group that is hijacking your religion.
Yes.
Why aren't the clerics or the imams of the Muslim faith coming up and standing strong to defend it?
That's actually happening.
Good.
But most of the people have absolutely no idea because the media is not showing it.
Yeah.
So if you go home and search about the Muslim leaders or Muslim imams who said something against terrorism, you will find there is a letter that was signed for more than 10,000 imams in the world.
Okay.
And it was written for ISIS to tell them that everything they're doing is against the religion, with explanation. And it was signed for more than 10,000 imams in the world. This is one example, but you will find tons of examples if you search about it. And many people, I was asked the question a lot, many people look, why Muslims don't speak against that? They do. And if you search video like YouTube, Muslims speak against terrorism, you'll find regular Muslims, you'll find imams, you'll find sheikhs, you'll find religious people and non-religious people, and they say, that does not apply to our religion, that's not us. Thank you for the question. Okay. Let's see what's here. I actually forgot. Which part is not there? But, yeah, the holidays. We were talking about the holidays, and we said about the 2 different holidays Muslims have. Next one. Okay. Most Muslims don't celebrate Christmas. So we were talking about what you should know about Muslims as a non-Muslim. Most of them don't celebrate Christmas, and those who do celebrate it for fun, and not as a religious holiday. So I have a Muslim friend who is actually covered, like me, and she was in Egypt in a Christian school. She was raised in a Christian school, studied for her education, starting from the beginning to the high school was a Christian school. So she is used to Christmas celebration with her friends, Christian friends. She always was celebrating Christmas. So when she came here, she was not doing the same thing. Celebrating Christmas, giving gifts to her kids, but it's not as religious. She's not doing it for religion as it's for fun. You may meet Muslims who celebrate other holidays such as Halloween and Easter, while others prefer not to celebrate any holidays but the 2 Eids. And that's different, just different styles of Muslims. It's not for a specific reason. Muslims believe in Jesus as one of the best 5 prophets who were sent to humanity. They believe in his miraculous birth, all his miracles, and his return before the end of the world. In the Quran, there are 2 more miracles about Jesus are not mentioned in the Bible. So many people would ask me if you believe in Jesus, and especially like around Christmas time. Oh, do you believe in Jesus? Yes, I do believe in Jesus so much. I love him so much, and he is in my heart. Muslims respect all prophets, and they believe that the prophets never committed any major sins in their lives. Muslims who practice Islam don't date or have a complete relationship with another partner before marriage. If you see a bad Muslim, it's not because of his religion, it is because he is a bad person who does not practice his religion correctly. Respecting, understanding, and living peacefully with others are parts of practicing the religion of Islam. Thank you so much for coming and giving me this great chance to share my thoughts and my beliefs with you. Really appreciate your time. Thank you. So if you still have time, I can do the game. name of the Muslims' holy book? Quran, yes. Come on, get something. Yes. What is the language that was written? The Quran was written with. The name of the language. Yes, Arabic. What is the only food that Muslims can't eat? Pork. This one I didn't really share, so if you have an idea, I will have your close. How many Arabic countries are in the world? Arabic, not Muslim. Arabic. And remember I said not all Arabic are Muslims? But there are countries that speak the language, Arabic language. How many do you think? More. 20. Yes, give a guess if you don't know. It's 22. 22 countries that speak the Arabic language. What percentage of Muslims are Arab? 15%. 15%. Who said that? Yes, 15%. True. How many holidays Muslims have? 2. Yes, 2. Come on. You. Oh, you got one? Who's the 2? Come on. What are the 5 pillars of practicing Islam? You don't have to say all of them, at least 3. Practice, the things that I have to do to be a Muslim. Pray. What else? Charity, yes. Give me one more and then you do that. There are 5, but they are 5. So pray, fasting. Yes, absolutely. Come on, yes. What is the Islamic greeting? What I say, you can say the meaning though. Peace be upon you. Yes, yes, good. Yes, peace be upon you. Now this is, you can guess this one, I didn't say. How many hours does the plane take from Egypt to the USA? Just think about it. 15. Who said 12? Close. 13. 11. You say 11 numbers.
11.
13. Okay, come on, give her. Okay, tell me 3 things you should know as a non-Muslim about Muslim. Any 3 things from that. Any 3 things. Tell me 3 things that you should know as a non-Muslim about Muslim. Yeah, so I shared like things that I wish every non-Muslim know about me. Tell me any 3 things from that. Yes, it's true. So who wants to try? Try. Any 3 things that you should know about me?
Very good voice.
Come on, guys, what I should eat, what I can't drink. What? Yes. Yes. Okay, that's true. Yeah. You got a guess now? Okay. You can get one if you want. Yeah, like eating what I can eat, what I can't, like hugging and these things. I think it's important for non-Muslims to know because just to, when you see a Muslim, like I go through this situation a lot, working with non-Muslims. I think we went through everything. So, yeah, so now feel free if you want to buy a copy of the book. I will appreciate it so much if you do a review about the book on Amazon. And